Now we're going to have a look at reviewing the previous coaching session, the second step of the coaching session process. So going back to the metaphor that we created earlier around the journey, the review process is really there to help us work with the journey around where we've come from, where are we now, leading up to where are we going. But the review process is really to help us to figure out where we are right now. So in the previous coaching session, we envisaged accomplishing some change. And now what we need to do in the review process is to see what is different now, what has changed, if anything. The reason we need to do this is we can't just carry on into the coaching process unless we know where we are right now. The second thing that we're doing with the review process is we're establishing an accountability relationship between ourselves and the player that we're working with, so that we establish the simple rhythm that starts to run through our coaching relationship of making agreements and then checking in with whether those agreements were kept at the next coaching session, so that the player knows that it's not just going to get forgotten about. So those are the two key things that we're accomplishing in the review process. We're visiting and orientating ourselves in the journey, and we're continually strengthening this relationship of accountability and the muscle that goes together with accountability of doing what I say I'm going to do. For a player, that's absolutely crucial that they develop that muscle if they're going to play at the best that they're capable of. So when we're reviewing, what we're really trying to do in broad concept when we're looking at the journey is, let's go back to see where we were, where we thought we'd be right now, and then to just get an idea of, well, what's it like here now? So now that you're doing a whole bunch of things different, what's happening for you? What results are you getting that are different? And very importantly, what's happening with your customers that you can notice that's different now that you're doing these skills differently? So we're really wanting to just visit this place of where are we now and bring our players' awareness to what's different. And this is an ongoing theme in the coaching process of always being aware of where I am in the change journey, knowing that it's just a journey. There is no real destination. That's what we're doing in the review process. Let's have a look at how the Game On coaching system supports the review process during a coaching session. Let's go there now. Let's see what Tekela and I worked on in the previous coaching cycle. So in our coaching session on the 26th of December, we can see that we worked on the Connect performance area. Here are my notes on what was working, what could have been different, and why it would have been a good idea to do things differently. The skill that we zoned in on in the coaching session was confirming the goal and teaming up with the customer, and Tekela was practicing these two drills to improve his performance in this area. As we look at the summary of his feedback on these practice drills, we see that they work quite well for him. So 4 out of 5 for most of them tells us that he found them quite helpful, and his level of confidence has increased quite substantially as well. We also see that he was working on a support skill around service and repairs, and he was reading the service center overview, which he found helpful, and his level of confidence has increased dramatically there as well. Only downside is he hasn't quite completed reading that, and he's only 72% of the way through getting that job done. So here's a very simple and clear record of what happened in the previous coaching session, as well as what happened between the previous coaching session and now with regard to practice. So now we know where we've come from, and now we need to just look at where are we now. So we go to re-rating the skills that we worked on in the previous coaching session, and we need to make an assessment now of where is Tekela in his capability around these skills now. So let's say we agree with him and his assessment of himself at a 4, we'd agree with that. And the support skills, after chatting to him a little bit around how things work in the service center, we see that he's pretty much got his head around that, but there is still room for some improvement. So the key thing that's happening here is that we've now closed the loop. So we identified a skill that was lacking. We rated it as a 1. We chose to coach it. We chose some practice drills to improve it. Tekelo then went through practicing. He gave feedback that the practice was working, and that his confidence was increasing. And now we have confirmation at the end, to close the loop, that indeed his performance has improved, and he's now sitting on a 4 out of 5 for the primary skill he was working on, and his support skill that we identified has also improved. Here we've been able to, in quite a short space of time, in a very concise way, been able to go through that journey, which is the intention around reviewing, to see where we've come from and where are we now.